Hey there, beautiful. I am so glad that you clicked on this video because today we're going to deep dive into something that so many of us are constantly trying to figure out, and that is work-life balance and somehow staying disciplined and getting everything done on our to-do list and doing self-care and taking care of family, home, and all of everything else and not going crazy. So today we're going to talk about specifically 5 discipline hacks, and these are not just your normal discipline hacks. These are tried, true, and tested. I have done them. They work for me, and now I'm sharing them with you about how you can have the discipline and still manage your work-life balance. So let's go ahead and get into number 1. Number 1 is like what I like to call the morning power hour. Look, it doesn't mean that your morning power hour has to start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It could start at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever the natural time is where you identify your starting point for the day. I am a firm believer in the power of an effective morning. I'm a big fan of the 5 a.m. club. So yes, I do actually get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do all of the things, but it doesn't mean that that has to be what works for you. There are people who get up at 3 o'clock, even 4 o'clock in the morning to get their day started. Just find a time, but honor the morning. So what does your morning need to look like? Now, there are some components of it that I think are going to vary based on your lifestyle, but there are 3 things that I think should be part of everybody's morning power hour, and that one is movement. There's got to be some movement. It doesn't mean that you are doing all out running, jogging, strength training, whether it is stretching or Pilates or yoga or walking or actually full movement like I do. You've got to move your body, starting your day with raising those cortisol levels and just getting your blood pumping, even if it's just for 10 to 20 minutes, is so critical. So do know that that is a tried and true method that works. The other thing that should be part of your morning power hour is some time poured back into you. So that could be reading, that could be learning, that could be listening to an audiobook, that could be meditating, that could be whatever it is, but it needs to be something that's going to somehow contribute to a better you. And the last part is, and this is for me, I have got to start my day with God. So whether you are a believer or you have your own belief system, and that may be just an expansion of meditation or just quietness, there's got to be some stillness in your day. For me, that's prayer, that's Bible study, that's connecting to God, that's getting grounded for my day. So there are other components of your morning hour and how they could look, but for me, those are the staples. But the one I'm going to stand true and not budge from is movement. You have to have your movement. This is also a great time to sneak in some water. If you are someone that struggles with drinking water, such as myself, go ahead and chug up at least 8 to 16 ounces, which is basically just a bottle of water, before you get your day started. Number 2. The other one I'm going to die on a hill for, and that is time blocking your day and your schedule. Look, whether you go all the way to the far right with it and you are, like I said, someone that is down to the hour, down to the minute, or you're somebody that loosely kinds of figures out a schedule for today, owning your time and identifying what you're going to do for your day is so critical and so essential. I do time blocking every night, the night before, so that I know what my day looks like. So when I time block, and I have a whole video that you can watch on what time blocking looks like and how I use it, but pretty much in a nutshell, I map out the day. So from 6 to 7, from 7 to 8, from 8 to 9, this is what I'm going to be doing. And I make sure that my to-dos and my tasks are somehow allocated in my time blocking. Like, who would have known that if you have a to-do, you can actually schedule it when to get done? Now, you could definitely take it to the next level and schedule that into your calendar. I don't do all that, but it just depends on you. The reason that I like time blocking is that time blocking isn't foolproof, because there are so many things throughout the day and nuances that may come up, but it does give you that foundation for what your day is going to look like. And more days than not, you're able to pretty much follow the schedule. And with your time blocking doesn't just mean for work, y'all. Time blocking is your life. Like, you can create zones of your day where it's uninterrupted. You could create a 30-minute zone where you don't want to be bothered. You're going to be reading. You're going to turn your phone off. You're going to be focused on whatever it is that you're doing. So don't just think of being efficient for the sole purpose of being efficient at work so then you can come home and have a life. It needs to be the opposite. Think about how you can be efficient at home so that when you go to work, you can be a good employee. But really, ultimately, your job is where you go to make a living. Your home and your well-being and your time blocking of those essential things is much more important than all of the things that you might have to do at work. Number 3 is one that I go back and forth with, I'm doing a good one right now, and that's digital detox strategy. So whether that is completely turning your phone off or eliminating or deleting apps, like I deleted TikTok when the app got banned in the United States, and even though they put it back because it was banned, you couldn't download it from the App Store. Now, as I'm recording this video, it was back in the App Store as of yesterday. But I can tell you that by removing that app on my phone, it's not that I wasn't getting all the things done, but the amount of time, y'all, real talk, like if I'm just being honest with you, if I could just be honest, that I was spending on TikTok or looking at things that my kids sent me on TikTok or my husband would send on TikTok, it was a little ridiculous. And so find the digital detox that works for you. I also have a phone jail, and I'll insert footage of it here where you can see where at night at a certain time, and I don't do it every night, but when I know like I need to get myself together and recheck myself, I just put it in this little case and it locks, and you cannot open it until the allocated time. Now there is of course a workaround in case of an emergency, but the thing is I also have my Apple Watch, and so my Apple Watch is going to receive phone calls, text messages, so if there was some kind of emergency situation, I would still have access to the information. But it is a really good deterrent. It is semi-childlike and juvenile to have it, but it does work if you do struggle with that. And digital detox doesn't just mean social media. Digital detox may even mean things like YouTube. Digital detox may be apps on your phone, whether you're playing games on your phone. Digital detox could even be your desktop or your laptop. Just because you shut your phone down and turn that off, if you get on your laptop or you get on your desktop or you get on your iPad and you're doing the same thing you're on your phone, you're really not detoxing, y'all. You're just changing devices. Number 4 is my favorite, and I've talked about this in my productive after work video, and that is the 2-minute rule. Like if there's one thing that you take away from this video, it is capitalizing and utilizing the 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule is identifying very mundane tasks that can be done anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 to 3 minutes. So think of these things as the autopilot task that you are doing at a different time of the day that can actually be backed up and done in other intervals of the day to free up that time later. I talk specifically about this in a lot more detail in my video, but some of the things that I do for my 2-minute rule is when I walk in the house after work, I get the coffee ready for the next day. When I walk in the house after work, I pick out my clothes for work the next day. I get out my workout clothes for the next day. Some of the things I do for the 2-minute drill are before I go to bed, I look at what my calendar is gonna look like tomorrow, just so I have an understanding of the meetings. And even though I'm gonna wake up the next day and review it, it's just knowing. The other thing, and this is definitely chef's kiss if you don't do it with a 2-minute rule, is doing a brain dump. Now I utilize this most of the time when I'm doing my time blocking that I talked about earlier, but getting things out of your head that you have to think about just allows you, one, to go to sleep a lot more peacefully, but then it stores the information someplace so you can come back to it so you don't forget, and you can follow up for the task or eliminate them if they're not necessary or needed. And the last one is another one. Like all 5 of these things, like when I tell you I do, like to the level of passion and just, I do them. I really, really do them. Now that digital detox, I'm not gonna lie, your girl struggles with sometimes, but everything I am talking about, y'all, I am living walking proof. And if you know me in real life, you know I really do these things, and I do them almost religiously. But the weekly reset is spending that time, whether it is on a Sunday afternoon like I do, or on a Friday before you leave work, and that is sitting back and adjusting what is in front of you and then evaluating what's behind you. So what I do, my weekly reset, I get out my planner and I go back over all of the things that I accomplished over the week. I highlight the things that I am excited or proud about. I always identify something good happened during the week that pushed me towards my goals. It may not be to the level that I want it to. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, but I celebrate my small wins because that momentum is so necessary to be able to push forward. The other thing I do when I do my weekly reset is I go back and I list sweep all of the tasks that didn't get done during that week that is behind me, and I make sure that they are either scheduled in the week ahead of me or they're eliminated if they weren't that important to begin with. I also identify my big 3. My big 3 are the 3 things that if the world gets chaotic around me, if I can get these 3 things done, I know that I had a successful week. And my big 3 are always tied back to my quarterly goals. And then of course I plan out my meetings and think about the things ahead of me. But just going into the week with that clean slate and that understanding of what is happening and having some semi-control of the narrative is just so beneficial, and it helps you restart the week. So if well, all of them, but the weekly reset, the time blocking, the power hour, like y'all, they're so important. These things will not fail you. Don't necessarily try to do all of them at the same time though, if you're not doing any of them currently right now. If I had to pick one that I would say to really start with, it would be the weekly reset. I think having a gauge and an understanding of what is in front of you and what is behind you and analyzing where you are is critical, because so often what happens is we have a list of things that we want to accomplish and then we go off of how we feel about them versus how we actually performed in those areas. So as always, I thank you all for watching. I hope these discipline hacks are helpful. Please leave a comment down below if any of these things you already do in your personal life or ones that you want to try. And as always, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.